right, guys. Well, welcome tech community to the TEC Elites official interview of these players. And thank you, everyone, for taking the time to do this interview. I am Nizzy, Director of Content Creation here at TEC. And we're going to go ahead and get started by just asking a couple questions with these players here. First of all, we're just going to go around the virtual Discord room and introduce ourselves. So we will start with Sendillion. Sendillion, give me your gamer tag, fun fact about yourself, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Sendillion. My name's also Ian, whichever works. But it's a pretty. I'm a very, very avid bicyclist, and I'm an ADC enjoyer, and I also enjoy reading fantasy.
Excellent. How about you, Cooper?
My name is Cooper. My name is Cooply14 in League. I have no clue what to say for a fun fact. I'm sorry.
That's fine. If you have one, we can circle back to you. But we will go to Lord Cusco next.
All right. I'm Matt, or Lord Cusco. I'm a top lane enjoyer, a jungle enjoyer, and I play guitar and piano as well.
Nice. Foxhound Kaz.
I am Fox. I'm the manager for the Montclair Rams for League of Legends. In-game name is Foxhound Kaz. I enjoy MMA, and I used to compete in 2D fighters.
And last but not least, Firelight.
Yeah, my name is Vaughn, and obviously my tag is Firelight, and I play support. I'll piggyback off that. My day job actually used to be being a professional musician, so I play violin, viola, and symphony orchestras.
Wow, nice. A lot of musicians in the room. That's awesome. Yeah, so before we get started with the intricate details of TEC Elite and what they're all about, let's just first question is going to go to Kaz. What is the TEC Elite program for those of the audience that don't really know what TEC Elites is? If you could describe what that program's all about.
It's basically just taking players to the next level. Depending on whatever your rank is, trying to get them into a little bit more of a professional setting, online tournaments, LANs, etc. I think this is going to be the first iteration of it, and if everything goes well, hopefully we can see other teams moving into the elites as well.
Okay, cool. And Firelight, what esport are you guys competing in currently for this? Like, what is your team?
Yeah, we're competing in League of Legends, and our next LAN that we're playing in is the last weekend of the month, so just in a couple weeks now.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, and that's perfect because my next question was about LANs. Is this? I'll go to Sendillion for this one. Is this your first LAN? Actually, we can go around the room and answer this.
This is your first LAN I've been to. Correct.
Okay. Wow. First LAN for Sendillion. How about Cooper? Is this your first LAN? Have you ever been to a LAN before?
Yeah, I've been to 2 before, and the last one I was at was with Vaughn and Zadox, and we won in Kansas City.
Awesome. Cusco?
Yeah, I've done one LAN before. I did it with Vaughn and Zadox as well back in the day, and that's how I actually met them at first. I met them in person, so yeah, this will be my second.
Okay. Cass?
I've been to a couple local ones up here in Toronto. The only major LAN I've ever been to is Evo. I did not deserve to be there, but I tried anyways.
And Firelight.
Yeah, I'm sort of the tying factor here. I've been to, this will be my 4th, and the last 2 I went to were League, and I went with Cooper and Zadox, who's our jungler, who can't be here, and then the one before that for League, it was Zadox and Cusco, and then I went to a Smash and Splash, which is a major for Melee.
Wow.
So I've been to a couple, so this will be my 4th.
Nice. I'll go to Cusco for this one. We talked a little bit, you mentioned how you guys met. I think everyone wants to know how you guys met. Was it virtual? Are you guys friends in real life? Like, close by, or is everyone just kind of all over the place?
Yeah, that's a great question. So Vaughn and Zadox are from Iowa and I live in Minnesota. So there was a LAN kind of in between us, or kind of on the edge of Iowa and Minnesota. So, kind of through networking online, we just met online and had never met before. So the first time we had met was in person at the LAN. So it all just came together.
Yeah, what he's really saying is, Zach and I were absolutely desperate for a top laner, and I flung myself in the far reaches of the internet. I said, please, anyone in Minnesota that has a beating heart, please link up. And this guy promised not to kill us in person, so that was how we met, and our blossoming friendship began.
Wow.
There it is.
That's awesome. How that you were like desperate for like you said a top laner, and then it just happened to be like a good click.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was good.
So how did you guys make it like to this point where you're at, Cooper? I'll ask you this question: where you guys are at currently with Tech Elite?
We talked about joining the LAN together, and then I don't know, because it was me, Vaughn, and Zadox, and then we were looking for other players, and Sendyline is on a team with Zadox already, and then Cusco was already friends with Vaughn and Zadox, so we just kind of, this is how we put this team together, I guess.
Okay. And is Kaz the captain? I'm assuming.
Kaz our manager. He's our king.
Okay.
But I'd be the captain, and I guess I just add on to that where, while we don't we're a bunch of friends that have competed before. Every single person that for example, like Sendilian and Zadox or like Cusco, like they, regularly practice with other teams and are in really high level tournaments all the time. And all of us have spent years, in the amateur space, like scrimmaging, practicing, working hard, grinding solo queue. So we came together to play in this, but there's obviously tons and tons and thousands of hours that everyone's put in to get to the skill level they are.
Yeah, and I should ask what your practice schedule is like. Do you guys just kind of, I mean, in Tech, in the amateur league, you find all sorts of ranges, like from teams that literally just show up on game day and play together and that's it, to teams that are like on a practice regimen. So let me ask Kaz, what's your practice schedule like? And I mean, is there room for improvement for, do you want more days or what?
I'm gonna defer to Firelight for that. They're a lot more knowledgeable about the game, so I kind of let them just, do their own thing. I do schedule their games, but when it comes to actual practices, I just let them do their own thing and go at it.
Okay.
Yeah. To answer your question, so most of us are in the Rams, so we usually have games for Rams. Look, I'll keep it just between the two of us. Your league is a cakewalk. We don't practice for Tech, okay? The Rams show up and we win, and then we go in our separate ways, just between us. But for everyone else, every single person that call is involved in some high-level teams, and we're also typically involved in the high elo, amateur space, in-house discords. And while we don't always have the time to practice together, a lot of times, for example, I'm a coach for Northeastern University. Or I know that Sendilian and Zadox are playing on a team that's competing in Riot Games as official path to LCS, and Cusco's on one of the strongest collegiate rosters in his region.
Wow.
So it's a lot of times we just come together to share strategies. We'll mess around sometimes, have some more relaxed games, but we know we're all working on the game, so we just bring together the individual pieces and make sure that we click.
Okay. Now, do you guys watch game film at all from your opponents?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, all the time. I think VOD review is one of the ways that us as players have improved the most. Once you get to a certain point, I think you need to self-reflect to be able to keep improving.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I'll start the next one with Sendilian. What is, and this one I'm actually going to go around the room, but we'll start with Sendilian. What is your role for this team as well as your rank?
Like I said earlier, I'm the ADC. I've been playing ADC for 2 seasons now. I used to be a mid laner for a while, but then ADC is more enjoyable, so I started playing that. Hold on, sorry. Give me half a second.
And if there's someone...
And last season, I peaked just short of 900 LP in Challenger, but I ended Grandmaster last season.
Wow. And for anyone watching this interview that doesn't know the acronym for ADC, what is that?
It's attack damage carry. You're playing bot lane.
Gotcha. All right. Cooper?
I'm the mid laner, and last season I peaked 500 something LP Grandmaster, and I mean that's it, I guess.
Cool. Kuzco?
Yeah, I'm the top laner. Last season I peaked somewhere around 300 LP. So yeah.
And Firelight.
Yeah, and then I'm the support, which for people who aren't familiar with League is paired up with the ADC. So usually I'm griefing Sandillion. I don't laugh. That makes it sound true, which it is, to be fair. And then so I play support, and last season I hovered around 100 to 200 LP Masters for the majority of the season, and then I ended Masters.
Now, what's your favorite in-game character? I'll go opposite, so we'll start with Firelight and go back the opposite way.
I feel like I have like phases where I always latch on to one for a while and I just obsessively play it. But I think my overall favorite one would probably have to be Bard. It would definitely be my go-to. I always end up going back to Bard, so that'd be my favorite.
Okay. Kuzco?
Yeah, I think at the moment my favorite champion is Poppy. But I've gone through a lot of phases as well, and probably overall in the whole game I'd say Fiora is my favorite.
Cool. Cooper?
See, I go through phases just like Vaughn does, but the champion I've definitely played the most and has been my favorite for the most time is Gangplank. So.
And Sandillion.
So I think one thing to tack on about this whole phases thing is that in high elo League of Legends, it's kind of important to be able to play a diverse set of champions, and the meta always changes. So it kind of depends on that. However, Aphelios since release has been my favorite champion, and probably will remain that way.
Yeah, nice. There's always that one character that fits into every single meta. I mean, I've never played League of Legends, but with Overwatch, the meta, like you said, is always changing, and there's always that one hero that, like Reinhardt, fits in like every meta. And it's like you said, it's always changing. So I'm sure the same case is for League of Legends. Now, outside of League of Legends, do you guys have a favorite game that you like to play? Maybe one even more than League of Legends. Maybe that's just like your competitive go-to, and then like you like to chill out with, I don't know, Skyrim or something. And this can be favorite game of all time. So like childhood favorite game, whatever. Like what would you rank as your number one game? We'll start with Firelight.
That's a hard question. I'd say I haven't played it at all recently, but if I had to go with like my favorite game of all time with like just pure enjoyment, it would have to be Breath of the Wild. Because a lot of times, like we all get tilted playing multiplayer games because it's always our teammates' fault and it's never ours.
Yep.
So sometimes it's nice. Sometimes it's nice to play a game where I can just sit back and it's not technically like challenging, but it is super enjoyable or innovative. So I always think of Breath of the Wild when I think of like my favorite like gaming experience.
Nice. Kaz?
Street Fighter. Been playing more or less since the start of it. Other than that, a little bit more current, probably anything by Naughty Dog, so Uncharted and The Last of Us.
Nice. Kuzco?
I would say I like playing Super Smash Bros. Just anytime I'm hanging out with my roommates or meeting new friends, it's just a great way to just hang out, have a good time.
Cooper?
It's something I played recently, so I'm just gonna have to go there. I'm just gonna say Cyberpunk 2077.
Nice. Sandillion?
There's a couple choices, so I don't have an immediate answer, but so I'll go off my top three, I guess. Other than League, would be like StarCraft 2, Divinity: Original Sin 2, and I don't know. What do I do for a third, actually? Total War Warhammer 2.
Oh, nice. Awesome. Yeah, doesn't surprise me that StarCraft would be a pick for someone with what is this game like? League of Legends, what is that category under? Like, I guess I don't know.
Generally, it's called a MOBA.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, so it's 5v5 team based, and then Ian's pick is ADC is kind of like, I don't know, like the sports equivalent. It feels like the not like the main point thing. Like if we take it like basketball for 5v5, he's kind of like the shooting guard. Like
Okay.
he's gonna score a lot of points. And he's gonna be flashy. And he's gonna try to get the job done. But he's not like the main point of the team. He's just like the hardest carry role. So his role is very mechanically intensive. So StarCraft.
Gotcha. Cool. Last but not least, what is the future for you in esports? That can either be you personally or Tech Elites as a whole. So we can start with Cusco on that one. Where do you see yourself? Like, what's your ultimate goal for esports?
Yeah, I'm just looking to improve as much as I can, especially on this team and filled with a bunch of really talented players, which is just an honor to be a part of. And I just want to challenge myself to, always be the best I can and just kind of work towards that. And then just as well as improve so I can perform well for my upcoming collegiate season for my college team as well.
Yeah. Cooper?
Sorry, what was the question again? Somebody walked in.
Oh, that's fine. I was just saying, where do you see yourself in esports? Do you see yourself competing at a professional level, or what's your future in esports?
I'm not sure. That depends on how much my enjoyment of the game continues. So if I keep enjoying it more and more, like if I enjoy the changes that are made to the game, then I could probably be interested in trying to go higher. But at the moment, I'm just trying to have some fun with some friends and win some tournaments.
Just vibing.
Yeah.
Sandillion?
Well, like Vaughn mentioned earlier, me and our jungler, Zadox, are currently actually involved in Riot's games, like Effective Path to LCS, which is the professional league ran by like people who made the game. So if I can go pro, that would be absolutely fantastic. I'm also probably getting involved with a collegiate team this fall.
Nice. And Firelight?
Yeah, so I actually want to go in more of a staff, like esports direction. For the last 2 years, I've been a public school teacher, and I enjoy teaching. So I currently work as a coach in collegiate, and then I also coach teams as well as on the side, and I've even coached like some of the Montclair Rams teams as well. So I think if I realistically stayed in the esports scene, that would be me evolving as a staff member for an org, like coaching or player positional, anything in that regard. I find really interesting because helping people learn and teaching things is really satisfying. So more as a staff, but same with Cooper. I just like going to things and competing, and having an excuse to travel and have fun is really the number one priority when I go to this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Perfect. And speaking of staff, last but not least, Kaz, future in esports as a team manager, etc.
To be honest, it's probably the first team I've managed. It's pretty good so far. Hopefully, I make it out in March. I can cheer these guys on. I'll be the crazy guy in the crowd with a sign going nuts. And then I don't know. Hopefully, if it pans out and everything goes well, maybe look for a permanent position somewhere.
Nice. Yeah, and to piggyback off of that, moving forward, as we start to plug Tech Elites for this video at the end of this interview, Kaz, if you could give a little plug for, you said their LAN is coming up in March. Could you give us a little bit more detail where it's at? I know we mentioned it earlier, but where Tech Elites is headed.
In terms of where Tech Elites is headed, January, the one coming up next that Firelight mentioned. It's pretty much like a trial run, so if we do well there, then hopefully sky's the limit. We'll go to the one in March, and hopefully whenever our team's ready to compete and they can commit the time to some more tournaments and lands, we'll keep on going. Once League of Legends set up, I'll start to focus my attention on some of the other games that Tech has going, maybe a Halo or a COD or a Valorant, and just grow the esports company from there. In terms of details on the tournament, I'm going to defer to Firelight on that one.
Yeah, so like I mentioned, our first one is at the end of this month, and then a lot of the lands, I mean, there aren't too many right now, obviously, Obviously everyone is hoping we would have more stuff opening up or being able to be done, or like borders opening up and that stuff, but that's not the case. So the only lands that are really being scheduled are by Unified, which is amateur and professional, esports. They host festivals, they host tournaments, all that jazz. So they have a tournament series in the Midwest for the next 2 months. And so the one we have 100% that we're planning to go to is in March, and that's in Kansas. And we're hoping we might be able to get out to one in February as well, which we're still working on, so stay tuned on that. But we'll be also competing in March, and that'll be weekend of the 16th and the 17th. So we've got some time before this one and the next one as well. So it'll be interesting to see how the meta shapes up and maybe what kind of other stuff we'll have to do when we prepare for that tournament as well.
Nice. And I don't want to forget about the one teammate who could not make it. Does anyone want to give some information to our viewers about him or her?
Yeah, he's really handsome, very dreamy, single and available.
Yes, likes long walks on the beach.
Yeah, absolute beast at jungle. But I would say he's probably our flashiest player. He likes playing characters that make a huge impact for like people who know League. His go-to is Lee Sin. So already whenever you say someone likes to play Lee Sin, you instantly have a mental image of like they go for some psycho stuff, and when it works, they look like an absolute freak. So Zadox is a big crux for our team. He takes on a lot of the shot calling mantle, as well as just in terms of like comms. It's always good that you have a good balance of people that are outspoken and people that are okay taking a back seat, and he does a really good job of being like a bridge between those. Like he's comfortable in both roles, and I know, and that sort of flexibility, and also most importantly in a teammate, the geniality, the calm, like doesn't tilt as easily as other players, really is a stable presence. So between his like carry potential, like he literally, I mean, Cooper and I were there, he won us finals in our last LAN. Like he went absolutely sicko mode. So he's definitely an important part of the team, and I'll make sure to look out for him when we play in 2 weeks, because he will be absolutely mauling the lows on the enemy team.
Perfect. Awesome. And before we head out, I just want to give a chance for these guys to do any shout-outs that they want to do, as well as just any information that they wanted to talk about that they didn't get the chance. So Cooper, any shout-outs before we sign off here? We'll start with Cooper.
I'm gonna say hi to my boy Perry. That's it.
Your boy Perry. To Kuzco?
Yeah, I just want to shout out Kyle Utel. Really important person to me. So yeah, shout out him.
Sandillion?
I'll shout out. Who's a good shout out? Let's see.
OzChamp?
I don't know. I can't think. Here, come back around. Is Cusco have someone? Or not Cusco, Kaz.
Yeah, so just a couple of things. For their tournament upcoming, I believe Unified has a stream, so I'll be posting that in the Tech Discord when that time comes. It is in 2 weeks. Shout out to Montclair's management, anywho, Rican and Music for getting in touch with Seth and Kate and really making this happen. And then the last thing is we are kind of hiding Firelight for ourselves this season in terms of coaching. It's because we want to win for D2. But after this season's done, if anybody in League of Legends within Tech is interested, and I'm sure you will be after you see him play in the tournaments, you can just DM me and we can set up coaching sessions for anybody who wants it.
Perfect. Firelight?
Yeah, what he said. That was awesome. But jokes aside, yeah, I'm familiar. I'll follow up on that and do my own. I'm familiar with working. I've literally just yesterday I worked one-on-one with a Bronze 4 player, and then just the last week I worked in a team setting with a Challenger average roster. So I'm comfortable working with all sorts of skill levels, and I'm happy to work with anyone. In terms of shout-outs, shout out to my mom. Because she's the GOAT, and we're all coming back. It's where I grew up. It's my hometown. So she is being extremely gracious and hosting us.
Wow.
So I'm excited. and she's all aboard this kind of stuff, so she's looking forward to it as well. So
Yeah.
definitely shout out to her. And then shout out to the boys at the other lands who could not make it. All my former teammates at lands. This one is for you, Kings. We will carry on the mantle. We will win again. So that's all from me.
Awesome. Sandillion, circling back to
Honestly,
you.
it's something I totally forgot about, but Vaughn's mom hosting us is like the biggest W in the history of the planet.
No, it's so cute. She's so excited. Like, for example, she was apparently she called me. She's grocery shopping, and she's like, okay, so it might be like cold at the venue, so I'm gonna buy you guys hand warmers. And I was like, Mom, no, no shot. And then she sent me a picture, and it's like this big box, it's like Lil Hotties. So she's like getting ready for the tournament, so she's all excited.
Those are MLG hand warmers. I've seen them on stage, like in between
Yeah,
games,
yeah.
people just
She-
grabbing
I
them.
guess
and
she
like,
did her research.
Yep, that's MLG certified. Well, awesome. I just want to thank all of you guys for meeting, especially Kaz. You know, thanks for setting this up, and like you said, the management of Montclair as well as Seth and Kate. And we will be plugging their stream info if they stream at all. Any of their socials, we'll be having all that information on in this graphic. So I appreciate these guys coming out. Appreciate you guys watching, and stay tuned in 2 weeks to check out the TEC Elites upcoming LAN. Thanks again, guys, for showing up and doing this interview, and we'll see you guys later.